Hello there, Qckslvrslash here, and today we have a video courtesy of Sky Harbor 6 in the Tier 6 Japanese cruiser, the Aoba. And the ship used to be such a massive improvement from the Furitaka, but as patches have come and gone, and power creep has happened and rebalancing has happened, the Furitaka has gotten the same gun layout rather than, all those single-barrel 203s. It gets the same layout, so when you get to the Aoba, it's not as big a jump from the Furitaka as far as performance, but this is still a very good ship. And one of the things that really stood out for it when I went through her, there was only American cruisers at the time. So you had the American cruisers with kind of the faster rate of fire, high shell arc, kind of spammy, and then you had the Japanese cruisers, which were much flatter arc, slower rate of fire, bigger guns, and they kind of played off each other really well. And now there's a whole slew of cruisers in the game, and they all kind of have their unique nuances, but the Aoba still has a bit of a soft spot for me because it was a fun ship to play. And for me in the Japanese line, it was the first ship in the line where I was like, okay, I'm enjoying this now. The lower tier Japanese ships and me just did not mix well. And one of the other things I'll mention now, I think this is probably Sky's first time seeing this match in its full glory, because looking at the post-battle screens he sent, Sky clearly plays with the settings pretty much on low, but is still able to play it, and like many of us mentioned, they've been binging through World of Warships, and this has been one of the better games they've had. So they sent it in, so I'm going to share it. And off the start, definitely not where I would go with the Aoba. And the only reason is in any ship, I like to hug the edge of the map. And not the actual edge, but I like to go out to one flank or the other. I just find I'm able to control the directions of the enemy a little better. If you go to the middle of the map, you can run yourself into trouble here. Now Sky has a smoke right now. Unfortunately, it was laid by, who was it? That Akatsuki, I believe, who has since turned and left, and these Japanese smokes don't last too long, and now Sky's caught in the middle of the map. Fortunately, no one's looking at him yet, and he's gonna have to get moving. The 203s punch into the side of the Leander, getting a Citadel, and an enemy Fubuki appears. First volley is out, the shells are looking good. That's about half the health that Fubuki had. He comes over, throws torpedoes just kind of at the edge of land, and he's getting lucky. He's got the turn, and he's going to make it out. No one's shot at him yet, and with the Fubuki popping smoke, the Fubuki actually breaks a lot of the detection that was coming his way. And as a result, Sky gets a little lucky, but sneaks away completely unharmed. But that could change because now there's a Bayern just under 7 kilometers away. He's got torps going his way, he's on fire, and it's him and Emil and Akatsuki versus a battleship. And the Bayern at these kind of ranges always scares me. I loved getting that ship in tight and just messing with people. You can see how little damage he takes from the actual gunfire, because all the shells have to do is land a little low and they crack on impact, they don't detonate. What the Bayern can't dodge is a whole slew of torpedoes, that Emil dumping them out. The first set going good, and there's perfectly what I was talking about. The shells landed just a little low, hit the main belt rather than the kind of upper belt, and every single one of them did nothing. And another volley, very minimal damage. So Sky swaps back to HE because, well, the battleship's enemy is a whole slew of ships spamming HE their way. If you get 4 fires going on a battleship, they're miserable. They could be perfectly angled in the perfect location, but it doesn't matter. The fires just drain their health away. And that's why in a battleship you have to play smart. This Bayern is all alone, 0 support. That's why he died so quickly, and Sky and this Emil got away alive. Because that Bayern sailed way too far from his fleet. And I can guarantee you in his team chat, he's probably cursing at his team, saying they're the worst ever, they've cost him so much. And this guy gets a little lucky there. No citadels, he was side on. Galice on the air, I think that was, that dropped the shells in. But that French cruiser's on low health, and he's just got to get spotted again. And one connection should kill him. So you can see Sky slowing down, and I question this because the New York is about to enter range. And, you know, maybe a tier 5, it's still a very deadly ship. Everyone seems to be starting to shoot at that Galice on the air, and they're all missing. You can see more friendly shots, and Sky's connect, picks up his second kill, and he's up to 19,000 damage. Not a bad start. We're just over 6 minutes in. And you've got a decision to make here. Now, personally, what I would do is I would work my way out down towards this island because it's nice and flat, and the French shells, you'd be able to lob over it, and I would just start working on that New York. I really feel he's caught out all alone, and if you can get rid of him, the enemy team's all balled up, you can start kind of pincering in on them. But Sky kind of decides to go a different way. He turns in, he puts his plane up to kind of monitor what that New York is doing, and you can see the New York is turning away. Sky tries to take a look, but with the flat trajectory of these Japanese shells, you're just pumping them into the side of a mountain. He checks with the torpedoes, maybe I can get a torpedo in? It doesn't look like it. So then you've got to pick a target up in front of you, and originally he looks at this Arizona, and then a Leander comes into view, and the Leander is the guy who ate a citadel earlier. He's on 10,000 health. Finish a ship off. That Arizona's on really full health. You know, just get rid of one target at a time. Now, Sky's team's not doing too bad. It's 5-5 on kills. They're ahead on points because they've got 2 caps. But we all know how quickly that can change in World of Warships. And this Leander is a beauty of a target. Pretty much side on, not quite enough that I would say, yeah, go with AP. The HE is doing its job, and one of my fellow OPG members is actually on the other team and just killed this team's Leander, and this team's Leander just killed their team's Leander. So a bit of a string of kills there, and things are still even. The mild points lead is always nice to have, but it's definitely a little concerning what's kind of happening. Now, this New York isn't really doing anything. This guy keeps taking looks at him to see, is he coming? Is he finally coming? Can I launch my torpedoes? But he's not. So this guy moves up, uses this edge of land to block detection with the Arizona, and just starts trying to support teammates. The Akatsuki is going balls to the wall around that corner, and the initial play, I like it. Gets the first set of tubes off, and those are going to connect. All 3. Big damage. Here's what I don't like. Second set of tubes. All of them miss. And the Akatsuki is dead. When you make a play like that, it can work out as a destroyer, but when it doesn't, you're just dead. You've thrown yourself away. Sure, he got a big chunk of damage in, and it's going to help his team, but the Arizona is still alive, and you need that ship gone. Because when you're in situations like this, like kind of halfway through a game, every ship really matters. It's why in ranked, losing one ship can be so significant. Now, you can, of course, come back from that, but it's harder. So Sky is backing up, ready to work on this New York. He's taken some gunfire from the front. Unfortunately, the New York is not looking Sky's direction. New York is focused on the Emile, because the Emile is on low health. And that means Sky can kind of just sit here, pretty much side on, and just shoot. He gets 1 fire, 2 fires. New York hasn't put them out. New York's about to eat a torpedo. And still, the fires are going, which makes you think he was out of damage controls, but it doesn't matter. Sky's shell finishes him off, 3rd kill, up to 40,000 damage, and things are still even. 5-on-5, but they've got a decent point lead. And point leads like that are always handy. What does suck is this Emil is continuing to shoot, and he is going to get finished off. Now Sky puts some shots in at the Kirov, gets one hit for 1,000 damage, and the Kirov is starting to take Bravo. He gets another shot out, and this is where I think the Emil overcommits. You can see Arizona shooting at him, Kirov shooting at him, and he's dead. So now you've got a decision to make. You're alone on a flank. Now, personally, I would proceed north, up around this island, try to deal with the Kirov one-on-one, leave the Arizona down to the south behind this island. And that is what Sky decides to do. You can see torpedoes are almost ready. That's what he's waiting for. You've got an Arizona coming towards an edge of land. If you just put a whole bunch of torpedoes there, you basically lock them behind that island temporarily, or maybe you get lucky and get a torpedo in. So with the fish in the water, it is time to go after the Kirov, and Red Panda is just about captured Bravo. And that definitely hurts. It's not a huge point lead, and you're down a ship now. Losing that cap really starts to lose you the edge that you have. It's a little unfortunate, but it happens. And, well, the reason is you've got a Congo and Fuso way up in the B line. Now, I suspect they're kind of fighting against that New York, but it definitely hurts. The Kirov is almost side on, but there's his torpedoes. The AP doesn't quite punch through. It punches through too hard, over-penetrates, and Sky would have just ducked those torpedoes. No need. They ran out. Kirov kind of just threw them, hoping, and they got close, but not close enough. And getting rid of this cruiser is going to be big, because right around the corner is a battleship, and you've got a Warspite right in front of you. And unfortunately, the Kirov is doing a good job of angling. So he's not eating a ton of AP damage, so Sky swaps to the HE, throws it in the air, but friendly Byron finishes him off, and my butt would have been clenched there. Only takes 2,000 damage, but I would be full astern right now. He's very flat on to that Arizona, and he's kind of forced to be because you've got a Warspite right in front of you. So it's picking, who you want to violate you in the dark. If you angle to the Arizona, well, the Warspite's going to be the one shooting your broadside. No, fortunately, he is stopping. I would have been full astern long ago, just keep this big chunk of land between me and the Arizona, but the Arizona, once again, doesn't seem to have quite enough of a line, and Rikoku in the Warspite slowly pushing in, but he's dealing with the Byron right now. Byron's on 13,000, Sky here 18,000, but Sky's bow in, and he was just, that's who he happened to be fighting. Here come the shells, they all drop short, and I think Sky's getting a little greedy here. Sure, the Arizona is now behind that big chunk of land, so Sky's getting in. He wants to challenge the cap, keep the points off. With the amount of time left and the point lead you still have, I really don't think it was necessary, but he's not really going to pay the price for it. The Arizona still nicely behind land and continuing to sail away, which allows Sky to sit in here alone. And this is a scary sight as he picks up his Confederate, the grand old lady turning broadside on to fire her guns. The shells are out, and some damage, but not too much. And the reason is, you'll notice, Sky is bow in and angled quite well. And with the Warspite down to 1,600, I'd just be aiming for superstructure. Avoid shells potentially crumbling on that belt and hit that massive bridge, which is exactly what Sky does. Picks up the 4th kill, up to 70,000 damage, and now it's time to deal with this Leningrad. And I'd be worried about that Arizona because we no longer know where it is. Good connection there, 2,100 damage, and throws the torpedoes out. Fair enough, gets them off before the main guns are loaded, and doesn't sacrifice main guns firing. Too often I see people focus in on using torpedo tubes that they could have fired their main guns 1 or 2 times. Leningrad's down to 7 health, finishes him off, picks up the Kraken, and get that rudder hard over because there's the Arizona. The New York is wandering up, chasing that Fuso, and in the meantime, the rest of the team's just been getting finished off. And here comes the volley. It's all looking decent, but definitely dodges a bullet there. I think you got a little lucky, Sky, but part of this game does require luck. It's, there's skill to a point, then you need RNG to cooperate. That volley doesn't do much. The Arizona is really slowing down. And just one good hit, that's all Sky needs. So you can do the broadside. Unfortunately, just kind of misreads how slow that Arizona is going. Fires it out. Here it comes. And 100 hit points. You're just alive. The Arizona's out of detection range. Stop firing. At this point, you don't need to. Fortunately, the Bayern comes to the rescue and finishes them off. And the reason I say, stop shooting is, Battleship Reload, it's more than the 20 seconds that it takes for that detection ring to shrink in, which means you could get away with just slipping off into the night. 108 hit points, don't risk it. You can see Rikoku kind of saying, you got a little lucky. And I have to agree to a point. There were a couple times a lot of damage could have happened, but it didn't. And of course, because it's World of Warships or any wargaming product, everyone in chat is a little salty. The New York's going to get finished off, and this game is going to be over. Well, if the New York ever gets finished off, that is. There we go.
And you can see what I mean by being forced to run on low settings. And I'm very thankful that I don't have to. But either way, it was a good game. 489,000 credits, 4,400 experience, Confederate, Kraken, 75,000 damage, 112 shell hits, the 5 kills, didn't manage any torpedoes, and, helped out defending the cap, assisted in getting one. And ultimately, a lot of the success came the way a lot of Japanese success comes. He was out on a flank, kind of being left alone and just getting damage in. And sure, 75 isn't groundbreaking damage. There's tier 2 games where people crack 100, but it's a very healthy amount of damage for tier 6. And 5 kills, if you could do that every game, you would be a happy sailor. And no surprise, top of the team, just shy of 2,000 base XP. And you can see the Bayern rounding up 4th, other guy to finish this game off. And it's always kind of funny to look at the end of a game where people end up, because sometimes you see someone just doing something stupid and you just pray during the game. It's like, I really hope they're somewhere near the bottom because they didn't do the work. The Akatsuki did do a lot of work and got a lot of torps in. Unfortunately, just didn't manage to finish the Arizona off. As far as damage, it's once again damage by committee. No huge chunks to any one ship. It's just kind of the same, like 5 to 10,000 to a lot of different ships. Except that Gleason here, 69 damage. Kill secured, right? Not kill steal, but it was theirs for the taking. Everyone else was shooting at it, and you can't let ships get away with health. And all told, taking home a very healthy chunk of change, 4,400 experience, almost 20,000 for the captain, and a fun game to watch. So thank you very much, Sky Harbor 6. I enjoyed watching it. I hope you guys did too. Please consider giving it a thumbs up or subscribing. And as always, I'm Qckslvrslash. I'll have another one for you guys later.